howdy all, grab yourself a drink, it is time for some Path of Exile discussion. With the November events just around the corner, Grinding Gear Games today released 2 changes and 1 clarification. I want to discuss those in this video, but if you did miss the coverage of the November events themselves, I'll put a link down in the description below to a video you're probably going to want to watch before watching this one, because some of the things in this won't make too much sense otherwise. There are 2 changes and 1 clarification. 2 of these 3 talking points refer mostly to people who are at the more elite end, people who are trying to compete for the very, very top prizes in these events. And then the third one relates to pretty much everyone that plays these events. Let's start with the clarification first. Now, this is why they are making it so that the Delve event is only a race to depth 600 rather than being an entire week-long event. Now, it is still a week-long event in that you can keep playing it for as long as you want, but the competitive aspect is over once someone in your ascendancy reaches depth 600. GGG's goal here is that they wanted the event to cater for people who don't have an incredible amount of playtime. There will be people who are able to squeeze 100, 110 hours of playtime into a week if they want to. They don't want these people to have a massive, overwhelming advantage. Now, they will still have an advantage because they'll be the best players of the game generally, but that will be the extent of it. So that is why the goal is to hit 600 and to be the first to hit 600 rather than the goal being to keep pushing all week. Next is the question of Demigods rewards. So in the past, GGG have given out items that have had the name Demigods something. These have been items with pretty bad stats that cause a boost to your character's size and that also, because they're items, wind up in standard over time. Most of the Demigods that exist have wound up in standard by now. There are a number of them that still haven't been withdrawn from the claiming system, and those ones can still show up in a temporary league, but once they've done their one league, they wind up in standard. They can't be used as skin transfers anymore, and ultimately, unless you're motivated by standard play, which I would wager that a vast majority of the people who can get themselves a demigod reward aren't that interested in, then you find yourself in a spot where you've got this trinket that's in standard that you never use anymore. The goal here has been to replace them with the Godslayer's Pride microtransaction, and presumably future things that replace it in the future. This is something that can be used in every league, which makes it quite a bit better than a demigod reward that can only be used in one league. It's quite a bit more permanent. And as a result, they were originally intending to give out a lot less of them. They seem to have reverted this after some feedback, and they're going to be giving out a fair number more of them than they were originally planning. So this is the way that the prizes are now going to work. There'll be 19 total Godslayer's Prides awarded in Hardcore Solo Self-Found. 1 will go to the top player in each ascendancy. Then there will be 6 more that are added in Solo Self-Found Softcore, 6 more in Trade-Enabled Softcore, and 6 more in Trade-Enabled Hardcore. These will not be ascendancy class relevant at all. These will just be the top 6 performances. So if this is in Delve, this means that you will be one of the first 6 players in that game mode to reach depth 600. And note that Delve is only SSF, so that will be Softcore SSF. And if it is one of the other events, realistically, this means you need to be one of the first 6 players to hit level 100 in that event. Now, it's worth saying that in the event versions that allow trading, trading will be absolutely dominant here. I will expect that both the Mayhem and the Delirium Everywhere events, both the standard trade-enabled and the hardcore trade-enabled versions, these will be won by organized groups of 7 players. Where I say 7, I mean 6 players that go into the actual content, and then a 7th player who is their designated trader. These will be the people who win these events. If you're not in a group like that, then you can completely ignore that there is a race going on because you will not be competitive with the people who are. The final point is guaranteed mystery boxes. This is an interesting example of a backlash against a past GGG decision leading to a counter backlash this time. So, in the December events in 2021, Grinding Gear Games offered a mystery box to every player that hit level 50 in each of these events. There were 5 events, so you could earn up to 5 of them that way. Mystery boxes are rubbish prizes, but for some people, this was enough incentive for them to feel that they absolutely had to play the event no matter what. And then you started seeing complaints about people saying, I felt forced to play Endless Heist or Gauntlet or Delirium Everywhere, and the last version of Delirium Everywhere was a pretty bad event, and they felt forced to play it to level 50 for this silly reward that's basically complete rubbish. Grinding Gear Games listened to those people and trimmed down the amount of these to 1. So all the people who gave feedback last year about this being exploitative and predatory behavior, well, congratulations, GGG originally listened to you. Then there was a counter backlash against those people. Everyone was complaining about how stingy it was. There was only going to be 1 mystery box. Anyways, GGG have decided to split the difference and make it so that there are two. This is an interesting case study in how there is no united Path of Exile community that the developers are constantly at war against. Instead, there are people within the community that want different things. GGG do what some of them want, and then that annoys people that have counterposed desires to those players. And then you end up with a situation where the people who are complaining tend to be the ones who have the loudest voices. All in all, though, I think this is a really irrelevant point because mystery boxes are rubbish prizes no matter what. Anyways, that's all I got on this. May your Varlorbs have interesting results, and I will see you around.